I ate nothing but beef for 4 months straight. Not one single day did I veer off path. I had nothing but beef meat. No organs, no seafood, no eggs, no butter, none of my mama's egg pudding. Literally just beef. Hey carnivores, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella, the steak and butter gal. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. I'm currently lounging in my living room and I have this cute little setup. But today's video, I really want to just hang out with you guys, just one-on-one, me telling you guys a little bit about my beef-only fasting update. I know this video is long awaited. I want to tell you guys how I braved my first 30+ hour fast from OMAD. So for the past 2 years, I've been eating 1 meal a day on carnivore and it has been working so beautifully for me. I thought it was, the end all for me. It was the best routine, the optimal routine for me to feel my best for my body. But little did I know that fasting beyond OMAD is actually a whole different creature, like a whole different universe. And I can say that I have never, ever felt this phenomenal, this, I guess, alert, this euphoric yet zen. I always say this, but I really do feel like I have found that hack to take that limitless pill where I can access pretty much all of my brain, all of my capabilities, and just be my superhuman self through carnivore and all of this fasting that I have been exploring. So today I want to share with you guys how I started my first 30+ hour fast and how I safely and effectively transitioned into my 48-hour fast. So let's get the video started. Today marks 115 days, so I'm nearing my 120 days. But my first 30 days, I kind of did like 50-50, more like 60-40, 60% steaks, 40% ground beef, because I was still very much in love with my ground beef meals. But during that first month, I started to realize something, and that is ground beef doesn't sit so well with me when compared to eating steaks. So what I mean by that is whenever I ate a ground beef meal like patties or just loose fried up ground beef, I felt very lethargic. This lull would always hit me right after eating the meal. I just thought that was normal because that was kind of like what I dealt with every single day after eating such a big meal of fatty meats. I was okay with just feeling a little bit lethargic, a little bit like, oh, I want to kick up my feet and just chill and not do anything, right? Until I started focusing on steaks, right? There were some days where I would just eat steaks instead of the ground beef, just for variety's sake. And then I started to catch on that, hey, I'm not feeling this lull. And it really doesn't happen every time I eat a pure steak meal with 0 ground beef. So I started testing this more and more. And I was like, okay, what if I just ate steaks all of this week? And I just felt so good. Like the energy was noticeably higher, especially after eating that big meal. So that's how after month 1, I basically just veered towards whole cuts of beef rather than processed or ground beef. After month 1, I started to lean towards steaks, right? So that wasn't just ribeyes, of course. I would have chuck steak. I would have sirloin. I would have a lot of New York strips when I wanted more variety. And of course, I would have my go-to Costco rib roasts, which I slice into ribeyes. If you're new here to this channel, welcome firstly. But definitely check out my beef-only playlist of all of my progress since day 1. You'll get to see how I veered from ground beef to more steaks. You get to see where exactly I buy my ribeye roasts, and you get to see how I slice my ribeyes, how I pack it and store it, and of course how I cook it to perfection. Month 2, let's just do a quick summary. Fast forward to month 2 is when I started to realize, okay, Coach Raymond, who is basically part of my challenge meetings now, he's there every single meeting. It was around like April when he started to give his fasting discussions in my challenges, but it wasn't until May when he started to regularly visit and drop in and be in the meetings like every week. So it wasn't until May when I started truly being exposed to Raymond's whole concept of feasting and fasting, right? You guys are all familiar with Coach Raymond's fasting protocol, just how mind-blowing and life-changing it is for so many of us carnivores, including myself. Truly, he changed my life when it comes to the fasting game. So if you are not familiar with this whole concept of how to feast and fast like a champ effortlessly, do check out the video that I filmed with him a couple weeks back. Get to know him, because if you really like his style and if you are really intrigued with his fasting protocol and concept, do consider joining us in August, which is our next 30-day carnivore challenge. So these challenges are where he will attend. I will always be there. Meetings every single week for 30 days. It's going to be every Tuesday, every Friday at 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m. PT. I will be there. Coach Steven and Coach Raymond will always be there to answer your questions, to help you up your fasting game, to help you feel better, to help you reach your goals, to help you even just start carnivore if you're new. We welcome all men, all women, all experiences, all ages into this challenge. And it is a no judgment, safe, friendly, welcoming community where we're all like-minded. We just want to get healthier, feel better, look amazing, get a six-pack, and enjoy the life that is of feasting and fasting. So back to month 2 of my progress, I started being very interested and convinced of Raymond's concept. And that is when I started to incorporate my first 30+ hour fast. And I emphasize 30+ hour. I didn't even touch 48s yet in month 2. I really only just started to veer past OMAD because, as you all know, for the past 2 years now, I've basically just been eating 1 meal a day every single day. And that's what has been so comfortable, so easy for me, and my preferred way of eating, like frequency. So for 2 years, I believed OMAD was the way. OMAD and carnivore was the way to make me feel optimal, function optimally, think optimally, perform at the piano in front of the camera. And then month 2, everything changed. Just everything shattered when it came to what I thought was the optimal routine for me. And I just love that because I'm always down to tweak. I'm always down to try new things. I'm always down to challenge myself, hence the beef only, right? I started my first 30+ hour and I would say it fell around like 32 hours. And I remember texting Raymond. I was like, I think I'm ready to do a 30+ hour today. It was just like a random day, just chilling at home with my siblings. I still remember, I think I was in bed, honestly, just watching Netflix shows. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready to brave it. So I texted him, I was like, what should I do to prepare? He said, today, make sure you eat a very, very big hearty meal of steaks preferably, because steaks do sit the best. They fuel you the best when you do fast beyond OMAD. So of course, I said, yes, I'm going to do ribeyes. I cooked up 3 big, fatty, juicy ribeyes that day. I think I ate around like 6 p.m. and that was my last meal before I started my 30+ hour fast. As you can imagine, the first 24 hours, I was like, this is a breeze. I'm used to this. But when the next day at 6 p.m. hit is when I started to get nervous. I started to really doubt. And that's when I texted Raymond. And I do feel very lucky that I have his number and that I can text him and ask him questions and make sure that everything I'm doing is correct. I texted him, I'm not sure if I should continue this because I'm kind of feeling hungry. He was like, how hungry are you feeling? Like middle 3, right? If it was scale of 1 to 5. And he was like, okay, wait 30 minutes. Just like that. So I waited 30 minutes. Like, oh, I'm not hungry anymore. He's like, perfect, keep fasting. So it was just that simple, right? Those texts by Raymond definitely help because he literally tells you what to do and all I have to do is just follow it, listen to those words. So 30 minutes later, didn't feel hungry and I just continued fasting. And I think what was the most difficult part of my first 30+ hour fast was falling asleep on an empty stomach. So for me, this is something that is unimaginable, right? If I even think about it, or back then, like that month, second month of beef only, just even thinking about going to bed, going to sleep, and entering my dreams with no food, no ribeye, no meat in my belly, it was a big concern to me. And I got fearful that my old eating disordered habits of binging would come back. It would haunt me. Because that's basically what I used to do when I was obsessed with losing weight, obsessed with restriction, calorie counting, and it was just horrible. So even thinking about, oh God, I have to go to sleep without anything in my stomach, it was scary. Of course, I voiced all of this to Raymond, and he basically reassured me and said, look, you ate 3 huge ribeyes literally just 28 hours ago. You're not gonna die. Your body is not going to starve to death. It has plenty of fuel to make it to next morning. Just tell yourself, once morning hits, you're gonna be able to break the fast and feast like royalty, right? So I was like, you know what? You're right. It's not that big of a deal, and I'm chickening out. I don't want to do that. So I basically kept myself busy. I edited videos all night, and that's usually what really helps me. And this is the thing with fasting. When you want to brave extended fast and you have these doubts and you have all of these concerns, leaning on something that you truly love to do, something that really occupies you, something that gets you to think constantly, just something that is distracting and keeps you busy is going to be so useful and so handy when you start getting into the groove of 24+ fasts. So for me, it was always editing. If not editing, piano playing, right? Just practicing. But it was late at night. My siblings were asleep. So all I could do was just stay in my room and edit. When I edit, nothing in the world exists to me. No one exists to me because I am literally focused on getting this video edited, finished, and uploaded. So yeah, that's what I did. And honestly, once I focused on editing and I started to just let go of that fear of, oh my gosh, I have to sleep with an empty stomach, I let it go, right? And I was able to edit until like 12 a.m., felt sleepy, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep. And tomorrow morning, I will promise myself that I'm going to break my fast. I went to sleep, slept like a baby, and the next morning I woke up and broke my fast with a couple more ribeyes. And that was my first experience of a 30+ hour fast. That was my first fast beyond OMAD, because that experience was so pleasant and so welcoming and warm. And again, I think that to Raymond's guidance and his reassurance and his really clear-cut texts. Because of that, I was ready to keep doing more. So I really do think when you approach fasting, really be careful about how you approach it, because once you have a horrible experience, right, like you start starving but you will power through it, and then the next day you end up in a binge and you slip up and you start eating junk and it's a slippery slope, do you really think you're going to want to go back to fasting again? Probably not, because you're going to associate it with all of these bad memories and regrets. So this is why I highly stress, if you are interested in fasting, like beyond OMAD, I highly stress that you do a little bit more research. Honestly, that you just watch more of Raymond's videos. Just watch the video that I did with Raymond. It has so much golden information. And if you want more information and you want to reassure and make sure that you approach fasting the absolute best and safest way possible, just join us in August for 30 days. Ask us your questions. Let Raymond help you and guide you to get to your goals when it comes to fasting. Honestly, anything carnivore, we're all there. Like, the whole team is going to be there to help you. That's our job in these challenge meetings. So it's just 30 days. And again, the link is down below in the description box. It's just almost taboo, I feel like. Whenever fasting is brought up, I feel like a lot of carnivores are fearful of it. I'm 2.5 years in carnivore, and I did not think it was even possible to feel even better than I did before doing all this fasting and beef only. So I truly feel like I have seriously advanced my mental clarity, my mood, my energy, my sleep, and my body recomposition. The results, they're undeniable. Raymond always compares it to petting the unicorn. I also compare it to taking that limitless pill, where once you take that pill, you tap into not 20%, not 50%, but 120% of your brain, of your energy, of your capability to reach your goals, to be efficient, to get more work done, to be more compassionate towards your friends, to give more love to your family and loved ones. It just, everything is amped up. So I cannot rave about how good I'm feeling enough, But I want to tell you guys how I got here, right? My version of how I got here. So when I started doing the 30+ hour fasts, I did lean on some things to help make it less depressing and scary and, difficult. And that is this product right here. As you can see, the brand is Grassland Nutrition. I ate this before I even started any of these fasting ventures, but it's basically just beef suet that's grass-fed, grass-finished, and it is raw. So this is why I love it so much. Raw fat is always going to be the cleanest, purest source of energy to fuel you, whether you're fasted or not. It's a great snack. I'm going to open it up and show you guys what it looks like. I love Carnivore Crisps, which is there too. But because this is unsalted, this speaks to me the most. It's just pure, creamy white cubes of beef fat. Nice and solid, but once you put it in your mouth, it kind of just disintegrates and melts. It kind of has a crunch too. Hard to explain, but the taste itself, the flavor is very neutral. This pure fat helped me get through the late nights when I was starting to doubt like whether I should go to sleep with an empty stomach and keep fasting. I didn't really feel hungry, but eating some fat definitely calmed those thoughts down. So moving on, right? I'm in the middle of month 2. I'm dabbling in 30+. I'm not really doing much more than 30+. I'm not even ready for 48s. You see, I wanted to take this very slowly. I didn't want to push anything, knowing my history of eating. Just so much restriction, so many bad eating disordered habits. So I wanted to really take this gently and be very mindful of my body. So I would say it was towards the end of month 2, I believe, where I braved my first 48 hours. So that one actually, it took a couple tries because I couldn't get it right the first time around because I just would feel jittery and hungry too early. So I didn't want to push it. And the whole thing with like Raymond's concept is when you do these fasting ventures, you never, ever, ever white knuckle it. You never push it. And you have to absolutely make sure that you feasted enough. Because if it becomes difficult and you truly become hungry, it's just a sure sign that you didn't feast enough when you ate before you started the fast. So take a step back, go back to feasting, work up your feasting ability, and then try the fast again. So that's kind of what happened. I did a few like 36-hour fasts, and I just couldn't make it past that because I would just feel hungry. I would be triggered by food. I live around standard American diet family eaters who just eat literally all day, every day, snacks, 3 meals, and they love their meat too. So when I smell and see meat, of course, I'm going to be like aroused, right? I'm going to start salivating and I want to eat. Whenever I saw and felt that way, I just decided I'm not going to push through this. This is not worth pushing. I'm fasting to enjoy and literally to see how it affects my mental clarity. And that was my sole purpose, was for my mental clarity. So that's why I decided I'm just going to break this fast at 36 hours. And that's what I did quite a few times until one of the days I was able to make it to 48 hours. And again, I really did lean on these raw fats. Did I drink coffee? Yes, I still drank black coffee throughout. From day 1 to still today, I drink black coffee. You also have to be very mindful. Does black coffee help you make fasting easier? Or does it completely shut off your hunger signals? Or does it make you extra hungry? Be mindful of how coffee affects you, but if you do want to incorporate coffee even as a fasting carnivore, drink it black. Because if you put any butter or cream in there, immediately it's just going to start triggering desires for food. So I highly recommend you drink your coffee black. Iced, hot, warm, room temperature, that doesn't matter. My first 48 hours, how did it go? I do clearly remember that past the 36-hour mark, wow, my mental clarity kind of like shot up extra hard. It's worth it once you go past 36 hours. I often get asked, what is the differences that I feel between OMADs and 48 hours? Well, firstly, my answer is don't forget about 30+ hours, right? It doesn't always have to be hard 48 hours when you do the next fast after OMAD. But the biggest difference between OMAD and 36+ is that boost in mental clarity and that euphoria, right? When I'm doing OMADs, I definitely feel more of that carnivore zen. But the moment I surpass the 36-hour fast, that is when I get literally like an injection of pure carnivore euphoria. So that's what makes it worth it for me. And that's what makes me come back to it over and over. 2 months in, I'm still doing 48s, and now I'm doing rolling 48s effortlessly, like a champ. Steak and butter guy's going to the gym. He just wanted to let me know. Isn't that sweet of him? Yeah, instead of just storming out of the apartment and then causing me to wonder, where did my boyfriend go? He tells me, thank you, babe. Have a great workout. I love you. I love you. Oh, he got me these gorgeous sunflowers. Sunflowers are my favorite flowers of all time. So he got it for me because it's our 22-month anniversary 2 days ago. So I'm gonna wrap up today's video. I just wanted to share with you guys how I started my first 30+ hour fast. This is only part 1 because I have so much more to share regarding how to get beyond that 36 hour mark and get into 48 hours and then eventually rolling 48s. And rolling 48s basically is a consecutive 48. So back to back to back 48-hour fasts, no breaks, right? That's a rolling 48. And then after 48 hours, I also want to share a lot about my experience and how I worked up to 72 hours. Yes, I am now doing 72 hours as well as the rolling 48 hours. So do stay tuned for part 2, part 3, maybe part 4 of this whole feasting and fasting series. It almost feels like a big part of this video is missing because Raymond is not here, but I do think I can offer a lot of my own insight, sharing my personal experience doing 30+ hour fasts. So again, I highly urge you guys to just jump in on our next 30-day challenge so that we can intimately speak with you, answer your questions, and give you a fasting protocol custom tailored to your lifestyle and to your goals in the meetings during the challenge. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I hope this video helped you guys out. I'm gonna go coach now and start today's meetings. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on the bell notifications if you don't want to miss any of my future videos. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I will see you guys very soon. SBG out. Show them your 6-pack. Thanks, babe. But actually, show them your 6-pack. The sunflowers are blocking it. Oh! Blocking it. Guys, look at that. Oh.